Alright, now we have a mess of wires here. This is a part that a lot of people get confused on, but really it's not that bad. Hooking everything up is extremely easy. It all makes sense when you read the guides and when you kind of do a little bit of research. But alright, these right here are probably the most confusing to people, and it's no big deal. Basically, these cords right here, they lead to the front of the case, and it enables us to have all these things here: USB ports, audio, and such. Okay, and it also controls the power buttons, the reset button, in this case the fan LEDs, hard drive activity, and the power LED. Alright, so that's what these little ones do here. Okay, and something I really like about Asus is that they include a nice little Q connector here. What this does is it simply labels everything here. Okay, and all those kind of correspond to these little wires. So let me go ahead and put the camera down and just give you an idea here of what this should look like. Okay, so here's our Q connector, okay, and it's very easy. You can read, it says, see if I can get this, IDE, LED, power, ground, reset ground, and all that, okay. All we have to do is go ahead and grab our cable. We can grab this one, for instance. It's the green one. Now this is going to be different for every motherboard, so what you have to do is read your motherboard's manual, okay. We have the power LED positive and power LED negative, okay. Can't really read that, but alright, and all it does is it plugs in over here. Okay, see how we have a power LED negative and positive? Yeah, there we go. Just plug in the negative here, boom, and the positive right here. There we go. Now that one is all plugged in, and the next one, it says power switch, power SW. Now go look on the other side. We have a power and ground, and just go ahead and plug that in like that. Okay, see, this Q connector really helps a lot, so I really want to thank Asus for providing that. Our hard drive LED, and it's actually IDE LED. Just go ahead and plug that in right there. Okay, so you can see what I have so far. Okay, and lastly I have the reset switch, and here it is right here, the reset ground right there. Alright, and this right here is actually for a speaker, but I'm not going to plug that in. That speaker actually came with the motherboard, but I'm not going to plug that in. So now what do I do with this Jerry once all those things are plugged in? Well, you can see all those things they have like a certain pattern that you can plug into the motherboard. Let's go take a look at the motherboard here, and the place that they actually go is right here at the bottom right. Okay, you can see that big white part right here. Okay, I don't know. And there we go. All you're gonna do is go ahead and plug that in the way it looks on there. Okay. And it should all just match up. Okay, so you're easy. I don't know if I showed you that. See, all these lines, those little pins should line up with the holes. There we go. Done. And now that's all connected. Okay, and now all the front things work and stuff. So, here we go. Okay, so what I did here is I took advantage of the cable management hole in the Clemaster case and pretty much just fed that through the bottom. We don't want wires going all over the place, so think about cable management, even if it's basic. I'm not very advanced in cable management, but I do know that I want it kind of all out of the way, and I want all the wires in the back, okay, in the rear of the case, hiding, okay. So it looks clean, better airflow, and just better, okay. Now, we have all these wires left over. Now, where do all these plug in? It's very, very simple. Let's go ahead and start off with the SATA. Okay. All I'm going to do is go ahead and feed this from behind the case. Squeeze it behind the case. Actually, you know, I'm not going to feed that one behind the case. Because cable management, I'm going to use some zip ties in the back. And I'm just going to look at where this lines up. Kind of has an L shape right there. See the L? And it just connects right there. Very simple. Just go ahead and plug this in. There we go. Now that one's in. Okay. Let me see, what else do we have here? We have, from the case, we have an audio. So HD audio and AC97. Now you don't use both of these, you're only going to use one. In my case, I'm on HD. My motherboard does support HD audio, which actually is right there, that green one there, okay? It's labeled as AAFPL. Yeah, you can't see that for nothing. But anyways, that's what it's labeled as. And that's where that goes. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this cable. Swing it around through. Alright. Pull it through. Alright, and grab this and just connect it over there. There we go. Now that's all in over there in that green one that I showed you. And this part right here, the what is it? The AC97 plug actually kind of gets in the way, and it has like this little wire that can actually fall into the power supply. So what I do is I actually use that little tab right here and kind of feed this through, and kind of use it as a cable management hole. Okay. Remember, we want this to be as neat as we can get it. Okay, we don't want wires going all over the place. So whatever little tricks you can do off your case, go ahead and try that. Alright. So there we go. Now that wire's not hanging all over the place, and it's actually sticking out the back. Let's see if I can show you right here. See right there how it's sticking out? There it is. Alright. The next two are actually both USB. This one, you see, has two it's split off, is actually for the front of the case. Okay, so it's two USB ports right here and right there. The red one was actually the eSATA, so that's already hooked up, and the audio is already hooked up. Now we're just on the USB. So USB, it's split off because we have two of them. I'm just gonna go ahead and feed this behind. Remember, guys, this cable, the cables and the plug, everything where everything plugs in, is very easy. A lot of people are just underestimated. Not underestimated. They they think it's harder than it really is. Alright, anyways, on my motherboard, this is where the USB slots are. Okay, well, I have 3 of them. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and plug in USB. Make sure this is matched up the right way. Right there. Just going to plug that in right there. So there we go. Now that USB is all plugged in, good to go. And now this USB is actually to my flash card reader. So just going to go grab this, feed it through, and feed it through, and put it through another USB thing here. Alright, and I think that one is plugged in. And good to go. So now we have a bunch of stuff plugged in. It was not very hard, was it? I hope not. So we already have an eSATA plugged in. We have the Q connector plugged in for all the case things. We have the audio plugged in, and now we have the USB plugs plugged in. Very, very simple. So let's go ahead and move on. Alright, so remember when I said my power supply was completely modular, well, nothing's plugged into it. So what we have to do now is go ahead and plug in all of the power supply plugs. These are the ones that I'm actually going to use. That's all I'm using. Out of all the cables that you could be, that could be in your case and in the way, that's all I'm using. I'm just using like 5 cables here. I'm not sure how many that is. 1, 2, 4 cables to come off the power supply. So what I'm going to do first is plug in the one that goes into the power supply. Okay, so this one right here says to power supply, and the other side says to motherboard. Couldn't be more simple than that. So let's go ahead and just, let me just set that there. Alright, let me lift that a bit. Alright, so the one that says to power supply, all I'm going to do is go ahead and plug it in to the power supply. Oops. Okay. There we go. So now that's in, and now what I'm going to do is, because I have a cool cable management hole on my case, I'm going to feed this through right here. Okay, through right there. And feed it through all the way. Alright. Now let me go ahead and cut the camera and feed it through, then I'll come back. Okay, so all I did was I fed the power supply main power cable through the back, and it comes out from right here and just plugs into the motherboard right there. Okay, that's where my motherboard 24 pin is. Okay, some of you may have 20 pins. I have 24, so that's where that goes. It's very, very simple. So now my motherboard will have power when I plug in my power supply unit. Alright, so let's see, what else do I need here? You need the ATX power. Okay, so let's go ahead, and this is the 12 volt, 8 pin. Some of you only have 4 pins, but on my motherboard on the top left, come on, there we go, see that like white thing there? That's 8 pins, and that's actually it needs power. So I'm going to go ahead and find out where that is on my power supply. Go ahead, just plug that in, and then plug the other side into the top. Now again, I'm going to go ahead and feed this through. Okay, just so it's a little bit easier, I'm going to do it before I plug in this side. Alright, very easy. There. Alright, so there we go, that 8 pin is connected right there. And now, I'm actually going to come to the back here, grab it, feed it through this top one, right there. Come back around, and you can see it's hanging out right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in off camera because, well, I only have 2 hands. Okay, I went ahead and let me just go ahead and show you what we have. We have the motherboard, we have the 8 pin, we have the eSATA, and we have, what is this, the Molex, I think? Yeah, I think that's what it is, the 4-pin Molex. Basically, these are going to give power to my drives and give power to my fan controller, my optical drive, my hard drives here. I have 1 hard drive and I have 2 hard drives. And that's what we're going to do next. So let me go ahead and turn the case around, and then I'll give you a look at what goes next. Okay. So, it's very, very easy to connect all of this stuff. Okay? Basically, I like to feed everything through that hole, just so nothing is really going across the board here. Now this is the SATA. And if I look on my, let's say, hard drive here, we have SATA. Okay, let's go ahead and line up the L. Boom, done. That is plugged in and good to go, okay? And now another SATA I have is actually on my Blu-ray drive right here, okay? So you can see it right there. Now I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in. Just go around, wrap around a bit, and plug that in right here. That's plugged in, right? Put it back in. Yep. Okay, so that is plugged in right there. Alright, so see that? So SATA, and this wraps around and plugs into the power supply. Very, very easy. Now here is the 4-pin. Okay. And I actually have a really old hard drive here. And that hard drive needs to be plugged in through that plug. See, it just all makes sense once you get the hang of it. Once you take a good look at the wires and stuff, it just makes sense. Okay, so I just plug this in. Done. Now that has power. But of course there's no data going through it. No data going through this either. Because we have to plug in the serial ATA cables. Right. Next thing is the fan controller. You can see the fan controller gets power through, what do you know, one of these. Great. So, again, I'm going to put the camera down because I'm very unprofessional and I don't use a tripod. Or maybe it's because my tripod broke. Yes, it broke. And I really didn't have the time to go buy another one. Because and I don't have the money either because I'm saving it for this computer. Anyways, so all I'm going to do is just plug in this into one of these. There we go. It's all plugged in. Now my fan controller will have power. Okay, so that's pretty much all the main connections there. All the power connections actually. Everything will have power except my fans because I'm going to plug in my fans through the fan controller. But that is giving power to all your stuff. Alright, so now that we have power, how are we going to give out the data? How are we going to make sure the data is going from the drive to the motherboard? Well, how does that happen? Well, we have something here. Okay, you see, you already got time to see some of these. Remember, we connected this one that connects to the front of the case. Well, all we're gonna do is plug in one end here into that's the Blu-ray drive. Okay, gonna grab the same cable from the Blu-ray drive, and what do you know? We're gonna plug it straight back into. Remember, I showed you. Let's see if I can show you right there. See those red things right there? Ow, that really burned. The light just burned me. Turn this case around. Alright, so all I'm going to do is find the L on this cable and then plug it in to this third one over here. Hey, come on, get in. There we go. So what do you know? Now my Blu-ray drive is fully hooked up. Now I'm just going to do the same for the other hard drive that I have. Okay, so I'm going to do that off camera, and something I'm going to show you in a bit is how to connect this IDE cable to your motherboard if you have an older hard drive. Okay, so here's the IDE cable. Normally you will be able to tell which side plugs into the motherboard and which one doesn't. The one that plugs into the motherboard in this case is blue. Okay, see that one's blue. And also on the other side you'll have two to plug into hard drives. Okay, this one is the main drive right here, and this is the slave drive. I don't have another slave drive, so I'm just going to plug in this one to my old hard drive here. Okay, so let me go show you right here. Okay, see all those pins right there? We're just going to plug it in. Just plug it in. Just like that. Very, very simple. So now that side is plugged in to that hard drive, and this one is going to get plugged into our motherboard. Okay, so I brought it through here, and on this particular motherboard, here is where you plug it in. Right here, this red thing right here. You can see all the pins are on the side in there. Okay, well you can't see that, but there you go. And then if you notice, this slot lines up with that little niche right there. Okay, so I'm just going to push that in, and there we go. Now that hard drive is completely hooked up. I have two hard drives hooked up. Now I have my Blu-ray hooked up, everything seems great. One more thing that we have to do, or that I have to do on my particular build, is plug in my fans, and then after that, get some good cable management, or some, basic cable management going on the back with some zip ties, so it doesn't look all messy like that. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you how to plug in these fans. Alright, so now I have the fan connectors. All I did was feed them through the back, use the case, and pretty much fed them through here. And it's very simple to hook these up, like you have no idea. Here is the fan wire that goes to the top. Okay, it's to that fan right there. Here is the wire right here that plugs into that LED fan in front of the case. Now on my side door, I actually bought 2 more LED fans. Basically, I bought them for the look, for the red LEDs. And what I did is I put some fan filters on them, which kind of decreases the amount of airflow that goes in there, but it's more of an aesthetic look. So yeah, I just put that there for safety, because I don't know who's gonna be messing with my computer. I don't know. Nobody better be, but just so you know, here are the fan controllers there. The fan connectors. These are actually 3-pin, and perfectly for the fan controller, they are also 3-pin. Okay, so here's what I like. Here's what I want to do. I want to connect this fan to number 1 on the fan controller. So what I'm going to do is look for number 1 on the fan controller. So they're actually labeled right here. So fan 2, fan 5. I think this one is 3. Fan 4. Okay, fan 1. This right here says fan 1. Can I have some light in here? Stand up if you have to. Okay, so there we go, fan 1. And what I'm going to do is just plug in the fan that's in the front to this. Okay, just plug it in. There we go. There we go. Now that fan is both being controlled by the fan controller, and it is also giving power to the fan. The fan controller is giving power to the fan. So that's how easy it is. Now we have the top fan, which I like to be number 2. So here's number 2. I'm just going to go ahead and plug that in. Right there. Very nice. So now we have 1 and 2 hooked up. Again, it's very, very messy right now, but I'm going to do some cable management after this video. I'll show you what I do. Anyways, and now I like 3 and 4 to be the side door, and that's what these are going to get hooked up to, okay?